Watts had. Let me look her up again. Maybe there were more keywords here. Did we ever look up Jane Doe Roottrees? Let's do this one real quick. Day after Sam Madsen, public supported Anonymom due to some parts of the I think this is the same thing under Anonymom.
Yeah, I think we read that already. 17 magazine. I don't remember that coming up at all.
Where?
In the chat, Hillary says to Spoogle 17 magazine.
Spoogle.
Yeah, Spider Search, Spoogle.
The 17 magazine, sometimes referred to as 17 magazine, is the title of an unreleased and controversial song by... Oh, it was one of his songs. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
That's right.
There's mentions of it on a few sites claiming that it was on the first release of his first mixtape but was removed. There's no audio or visual evidence of it existing, but there are independent accounts from people who have claimed to have heard it, and they do generally line up. According to their recollection, it was about many different loosely connected occurrences of the number 17, mostly violent. The intro states it was written on Davy's 17th birthday and involved a fictional but glorified series of murders at a fashion show for a teenage magazine with a similar name to the song title. The person doing the violence was apparently trying to beat Dahmer's high score. Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, I know. Jeffrey Dahmer had pleaded guilty to killing 16 people in 1992. Due to major acts of gun violence in schools earlier this year and the subsequent backlash against violent music and video games, it is generally considered in very poor taste to bring it up. Most of the people that enjoy mentioning it online are either trolls trying to shock people or come from the morbidly curious corners of the internet. Alright. 17 magazines, and then
magazines.
After the one thing after Courtney May Watts is the last thing we need. I don't really know how that's relevant with the...
Well, it says it was written on his 17th
birthday.
D. Nate Co.
Which would make it... And this was in 1992.
Okay.
D. Nate Co. What? Oh, Genetico is a DNA testing company. DNA testing is a relatively new phenomenon that allows scientific laboratories to prove a possible family relationship between two people. It's fairly cutting edge. The method by which they test samples has only been standard in the last decade, as of the early 1990s. According to their site, Genetico was responsible for the DNA test that proved Felix Fellows was a Roottrie, and even use it as an example of how a DNA test looks. They used to provide some information about their process. Whenever they take a sample in person, they put the name of the person on the test according to their legal ID, which is why it says David instead of Felix. Okay? Because Guy Hudson is dead and there is no known DNA source for Guy, they tested Felix's hair versus a hair sample sent from the Roottrees. It's listed as Jane Doe because it wasn't collected in person, but the Roottrie company let them know it was from Bonnie Kellogg, Guy Hudson's sister. This is why it says it is a paternal aunt test. The left and right sets of numbers are essentially signatures that perfectly match the DNA of the two people in question, and nobody else. The way the test works is that if certain parts of the signature are shared, then it's very likely two people are related. As far as you can tell, Genetico is a legitimate company. They don't seem to have any reason to create fake results or hide the truth.
Okay, but fucking Rubie the lawyer sure does.
This is a DNA test you got from Genetico's website. According to the website, it's the famous test that proved Felix Fellows was a Roottrie. They received his permission to post it as their example for potential clients. The site says that there's a 99% chance David Fellows is related to the alleged aunt who is listed as Jane Doe. As far as you can tell, Genetico is a neutral third party that has been used by plenty of respectable companies. Now, wait a minute. They said that they found her hair in the trash.
Yeah. They found
Bonnie's hair in the trash.
Right.
So there's no proof that they used it.
Yeah.
Jane Doe, alleged paternal aunt.
Yeah, they just used fucking Rubie sent in somebody's sample
that he was
would match his.
That would match his.
And then just called it Jane Doe and
Yeah,
claimed
exactly.
Yeah. Rubie and Felix are related. It's her hair. Could be.
Adrian Rowland. I want to look him up because I don't think these numbers mean anything, but the name means something.
The name, yeah.
Adrian Rowland, Rowland. Huh. You'd think that'd be a bigger deal if he was the physician that...
Well, not necessarily. I mean, we're pretty sure we know what happened here. And the game itself is saying, hey, this is a neutral third party. Like, they don't have any reason or any...
Oh.
They have no stake.
I spelled it wrong. No, I did spell it right.
No, it was with a W. It's spelled weird.
Rowland, yeah.
Yeah. Spoogle beef, baby.
Okay, I'll spoogle beef, baby.
I vaguely remember beef, baby. Beef, don't delete.
Even after solving the original Roottrees mystery, the thought of Beef Baby has stuck with you. It consumes your every waking moment. You must track down a copy.
Oh my god.
You email the reviewer who saw the floozies live, and you offer her money, too much money. At first, she doesn't believe you. Who in their right mind would pay a few $1,000s for a stupid song from a no-name band? A few thousand?
What the fuck?
Someone who
you must have really stuck with us.
Someone who earned a whole lot of extra money by completing a family tree. That's who. That's true. When the check clears, she has no choice. Beef Baby is finally yours.
It's finally ours.
It's in our evidence.
Hillary is so happy.
Oh, we can listen to it.
Get out of here, Smooth Jazz. It's only Beef Baby now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
With your newfound fortune, you finally did it. The one thing you've been trying... Huh.
This is kind of a bop.
Huh. This is a bop.
Yeah. Damn. Yikes.
Wow. Damn.
Brutal.
This is brutal.
Only mildly disappointed is about having beef and not a baby made of beef.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm so happy.
So, okay.
You must track down a copy.
Where's the... Alright, if this seems important, like, I don't think the numbers have any interpretation combined relatedness index, the DNA from the alleged relative, was compared to the tested child. Based on the results, the probability of relatedness is 99%. Yeah. Alleged paternal aunt. Yeah, she absolutely knows who his you know, honestly, we don't know if she probably could have gotten a sample from what's her face, his sister, Joanna Robertson.
Oh yeah. Well, if she's still alive.
No, Joanna Robertson's dead, but maybe got a
Did Joanna have a sister? Are you talking
we
about?
don't know. That's what I mean. Is like, in order for this to work, they would have needed an actual relative or of him, of David Fellows. They don't have. They didn't have Guy Hudson, and they were testing Bonnie. It has to have been a woman because the chromosome said XX.
I wonder. Okay, so they also must have used that Jane Doe sample, that false sample that's not actually Bonnie's hair, to test Jane Doe root tree, baby root tree. What's her face? And
Her.
obviously it wouldn't match because they're not related.
Exactly.
Courtney May. Yeah.
Exactly. So we don't know if Joanna had a sister, but it was, paternal aunt or whatever. But that is what I'm thinking. Okay, well, he's not a root tree.
He's not a root tree.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go over.
What if Rubie is Joanna's sister? Yeah. Rubie might be Joanna's sister.
I don't know if the timeline works, but maybe. But
Could be related in some way.
So definitely a root tree, yes. Definitely not a root tree.
Yeah.
Likely a root tree. We definitely went with possible on this one. Or definitely went yes, because what's her face? Tostarito is probably the mistress that they gave up to Mary Beth Quaker Clementine.
Yes.
Because crime just runs in that family.
100%.
Absolutely a root tree based off of the evidence here.
Yes.
Yes, root tree, that's a confirmation. No root tree because second child.
Yeah, this is cut and dry.
This one's hard to prove because of the IVF. We would need the DNA for that one. Yes, this one he's a root tree. Definitely root trees.
Yeah.
Not a root tree,
not a root tree.
That's fucking
boy.
great. And then a root tree, yeah.
And then okay, here we go.
All right, let's see if we got it. Let's do this. But first,
on Sam and Clark. But first, why were these optional?
Well, because we didn't have to.
Oh, there was just the extra photos. That's right. We did it.
Booyah!
Booyah!
Guys, it's like 2 in the morning. Come in.
Theresa and Courtney May. Clark, can you swing another test against Bonnie's DNA?
This time I'll be sure to have them verify both samples in person.
Yeah. 1 week later. Ooh.
Using the
no, she killed Clark.
filled out, as well as DNA tests, we were able to uncover the truth behind all the inconsistencies.
All right, were we right? Let's find out.
Clark's handling the business, but I've come to thank you and fill you in on everything we've learned. Buckle up, because it's been one heck of a week.
Sam, please come in. Please
Actually,
have a
that's
seat.
an understatement. It's not every week you discover your family company is being
Yeah.
by someone they trusted.
Yep.
But that's the kind of time we've been having. Like I said, buckle up. Maybe grab some popcorn. We'll start with Guy Hudson.
This
I
fucker.
really wish they had made her come in. Devs, please, don't make her
Guy
stand
had a
on the
frankly
front
ridiculous
porch.
number of potential children. What shocked me is how many graduated from potential to confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
We said no, yes, no, yes,
yes,
maybe, yes.
Yeah.
We can even prove he was aware of them. The smoking gun was how he used company money to pay off a lot of women.
Well, yeah, we knew that.
He hid it with a method inspired by his idol, Elias. 5-piece flavors. The flavors he was paying to research were a ruse.
Yeah, we knew that.
He developed flavors based on the initials
he
of
had
the women
the
he was
shop.
paying,
Yeah.
which was really stupid, considering one of their names started
Starts
with
with an
X.
X. Yep.
Let's start with Christine. Guy was paying her under the name Caviar, but there were some other clues. James was born 9 months after Zach's party.
Right.
Christine was there with Guy, and when she got pregnant, she panicked. Steve stepped up. He even turned it into one of his recipe stories.
Yeah.
Steve is a good man.
Steve's a good man.
Not all of Guy's affairs led to offspring. He may have slept with Robin Martin, but she didn't have children, so we'll never know.
Yep.
Right.
I remember that.
Also, not every child of Guy's affair partners were his. Robert Garland was born after his parents had already moved to Boston.
Yeah, we know that.
Yes. Nailed it.
Skipping Beatrice for now. Up next is Lang Xin-yu. When Guy showed up in China, she was into America and Americans. Dare I say redheads?
Butch Cassidy and Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Yep.
When she got pregnant, her father paid key
Okay,
Gs
you
to
were right
fake
about that.
IVF.
Yeah.
They claimed her sister was unable to conceive. But her sister and Jerry had their own son, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
So that wasn't confirmed. Okay.
Sonia Alves was soon after. Nia was married at a very young age to a much older husband. She resented him. I don't blame her. They allegedly spent no time together in private.
Good. Fuck that noise.
Yep.
Guy was in Brazil during Christmas 1979.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only Christmas not in the records. Flavio was born 9 months later, and like the others, Guy started paying Sonia.
That's where she got all the money for the corporation.
Yeah, for her empire, her media empire.
Last was Susan Ford, hired to translate for Guy's overseas trips. It's easy to read into Guy's donation to her school, but there's no definitive
Really?
proof.
Oh.
She and Guy were witnessed together near the end of his life. Susan's husband was convinced he couldn't be the father of her daughters. Guy, though, paid double.
Oh, okay.
The price
Yeah.
of twins.
So yeah, confirmed. Okay, we did get that.
So, what about 5P?
This motherfucker.
Felix Fellow's mother, Joanna, doesn't have a 5 pieces flavor. On top of that, his story doesn't really add up. His mother already left the company by the time Guy became president, and his lyrics indicate he was born sometime around 1975.
Yep.
Alone, that wouldn't necessarily prove it. But there are some suspicious connections between Felix and the company's current owner,
I
Rubie
called it.
Spratt. They both grew up in Portland in foster care, and according to the local paper, they definitely knew one another. Rubie was the one who approached the Roottrees to begin with. It was all a setup. Rubie and Felix saw my book's challenge to the Clancet Trust as an opportunity. His mother really had worked for Roottree, and Rubie was a respected lawyer. She exploited my family's greed, worked her way into control of the trust, and ensured Felix got a piece. But they made some mistakes along the way. If you look at the 2 DNA tests that Rubie handled, they were both supposedly tested against Bonnie Hudson. But the 2 signatures that should both represent Bonnie don't match. After
we didn't
Clark
find
and
that
I
second
confronted
test.
her, Rubie lawyered up. Ironic, I know.
You know, that's
We
irony.
suspect Rubie had Donatico test Felix against his own mother's DNA.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Had
that's
a
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hairbrush.
They sent the female sample in remotely.
Yep,
On the
yep.
second test, Bonnie's sample was tested locally, but Courtney Mays was not.
Mm-hmm.
Rubie's been throwing away samples. We think she sent her own hair instead of Courtney Mays, but it could have been anyone's. Rubie and Felix were in cahoots.
They were cahooting!
As for why,
They
were
sure
both
were.
advocates of wealth redistribution. A noble effort. But once they controlled the family fortune, they became just as greedy as the worst members of my family. The money corrupted them.
I feel like they corrupt. I mean, like
They were already kind of corrupted.
yeah, like okay, wealth redistribution, great. But like straight up, you know, doing
It's not redistribution if you're going in and taking it for
to
yourself.
Exactly. Thank you.
They were so eager to personally wield the wealth for their own cause that they sabotaged any other claims.
Yep.
Like that's the thing is if you're interested in wealth redistribution, don't sabotage the other claims. Like just give it out, man.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like
That finally brings
he
us
was
to a
moderately
monologue,
successful rapper, and she
aka
was a fucking
Beatrice
lawyer. Like,
Watts.
really?
Yeah.
Her tales of guys, parties, and payoffs were true. She even approached Rubie before 5Ps was on Newsline.
Yeah, that was in Courtney May Watts thing. Yeah.
Rubie used Beatrice's truths to make Felix's lies feel real, then ruined the DNA test so that Beatrice looked phony in the public court of opinion. I feel worst for her in all of this.
Bing.
Fuck yeah.
While Rubie and Felix stole the show, there were some other potential new family members as well.
There sure
Miracle
were.
Roottrees was less of an open and shut case. That said, it's very likely he had a son with Mary Beth Clementine, not Stuart. Mary Beth adopted him before she ever set foot in Butler County. That leaves Mark. The timeline fits. He showed up about 9 months after Mary Beth visited Miracle, and the basket baby story is a bit too convenient. If that's not enough on its own, he was also bailed out by the sister of Edith Roottree, Miracle Jr.'s wife, after she changed her name to win that silly contest.
Tostarito!
Our best guess is that
Tostarito!
Mark was told by his mother whose son he was, and used that fact to put some pressure on Miracle Jr.
Yeah.
We have no real proof of that, but nothing else really makes sense for why they'd be connected in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elias's affair was the most ambiguous. Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias to do things he wouldn't have otherwise done, like pressure to include me in the family. My son even mentioned them arguing about someone named Beth. Combined with Gwyneth's lisp, it's possible the name was actually Bess. Unfortunately, all we know about Bess Williams is that she wrote his book and died not long after, leaving her only son an orphan.
I guess that's the one that's the question mark. There's no way for us to prove that one.
The timeline fits with Wildcat, but there's no record if she had any other relationship. Honestly, I wouldn't say we had enough evidence either way.
That's what the DNA testing is
I
for.
wouldn't be surprised if Elias cheated. Of course, I'm a bit biased. Regardless, we haven't gotten in touch with any of the Williams clan yet. That means we haven't been able to do a DNA test. As Clark mentioned, from here on out, all of our DNA tests will be in person for both parties.
All right, that's the question mark.
That's fair.
Fine. Fine.
But it seems very
Lastly,
likely.
we have a bit of a curveball. Ron Roottree isn't related to us by blood. Gwyn was definitely pregnant, so it's likely Robbie is. When Ron and Robbie went to visit their mother at the end of her life, something changed. Additionally, there have been a few rumors circling around Ron.
No, Sakura, they're saving Beth for
RR
last.
Yeah.
Productions canceled the Guys Like Us remake due to the director's illness.
Oh,
At the
not
same
Beth,
time,
Beatrice.
Ron's wife
We've done her
Nora
already.
began doing benefits for Huntington's disease, stating that she had become familiar with it. Huntington's is the same disease that Gwyn's former co-star Leslie Florence had. It's passed from parent to child. It can't skip a generation. Because Gwyn and Wild Bill didn't have Huntington's, and Ron seems to, it's impossible Gwyn was his mother. I recently confirmed all this with Ron. At the end of her life, Gwyn told Ron the story. Leslie and Bill had an affair the same year Leslie learned she had Huntington's. Leslie got pregnant. Leslie wasn't likely to survive to see her child grow up. And even if she did, she didn't want to be a burden. She begged Gwyn and Wild Bill to adopt her child. Gwyn did. Mere weeks after she found out she was having her own son, she also took in Ron.
Damn.
Wild Bill was a problem. Unreliable and a serial adulterer. Gwyn divorced him and never saw him again. Gwyn had already told Starlet she was pregnant, so it never really made waves when people saw her with a child in Paris. There was gossip during her divorce when she was discovered to be pregnant again. In actuality, it was the final months of her only pregnancy. To lay low, she stayed in Paris long enough that even her own family never had reason to question the timeline. It's one heck of a story, And frankly, nobody could be expected to piece the timeline together.
But we did.
Except for us.
Not with what few mentions of Gwyn's past have survived. But the Huntingtons itself? That's proof.
Damn, Ron.
Damn, Ron.
You wanted to boot Robert out, but
Oof.
it was you all along.
Big oof, buddy.
Big oof.
Ron suing Rubie to remove him from the Clancid Trust was a huge moment in my story, and a major catalyst for this entire investigation. Finding out that it's been pretty much backwards this whole time has been a bit surreal. So
Ironic.
that's where we're at.
That's called
Looking over the
laser-guided
information
karma.
you sent us was very helpful.
Yeah.
We pretty much came to most of the same conclusions. But it took us an entire team of lawyers. All this information, this entire story. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
In more
Yeah.
ways than one. Some of it has the potential to destroy marriages and ruin relationships. We're handling it all very, very carefully. But we couldn't have gotten here without you. And with that, I guess our tale has finally, truly come to an end. What a strange one it was. No words can express how grateful I am to you for untangling this mess.
So here's a
You're
check.
welcome.
Honestly, I've had enough of my family's eccentricities and scandals for one lifetime. I imagine you have as well.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
Yeah, we're
And
done.
If not, well, there's always Elias's and Gwyneth's brothers and sisters.
No, no.
No, thank
Slam
you.
the door in her face. Go.
Attention, Roottrees.
Oh, boy.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're ending on a 5-piece song.
Oh, fucking Slim Shady over here.
We're not doing Rootree Palooza. No. No. Oh, my God.
Oh boy.
Whew. Rootree Mageddon. Alright, guys. This was... My brain is pudding right now. I was...
Trees 2, Electric Boogaloo. I mean, I feel like Sam was definitely hinting at a sequel.
Yeah. Honestly, if they make a sequel, we're gonna play it. I really enjoyed this.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the raid. We're just finishing up.
Oh my god, thank you so much. We're literally just finishing up. Hi. Wow, thank you. Holy wow.
Enjoy this amazing,
Yeah.
not Slim Shady
It is
song.
it is a spoiler for... Oh, you were just playing it? No, it's okay. Hey, how did you guys enjoy it? Because we just wrapped up Rootree Mania and it was awesome. Oh my god, we loved every bit of this game. Oh my god. Hey, we
I
got
really wish it was playing Beef Baby, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I need to point out right now that we've got 69 viewers. Nice.
Nice!
Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Screen cap.
Screen cap it. Screen cap it. Awesome. Yeah. Like, if they do... Click the cassette icon in game to see detailed credits for each song. Oh, awesome. We are going to... Like, if they do a sequel for this, we're definitely gonna be playing this. And we've been looking into, like, other games that are similar to this. There's Her Story, which, Theresa, I just showed you earlier, which is like a police procedural, that I'm very interested in.
Same. It looks really interesting.
Yeah. But the next thing that we're going to be playing is we're going to be playing Valhalla, the cyber bartender visual novel game. We're going to be starting that on Thursday night, and I'm really looking forward to it because I've heard
Me
nothing
too.
but great things about it. I'm excited to dig into a visual novel after melting my brain on this game. And I think after that we're probably gonna play Alien Isolation because that was the runner-up in the poll that we did.
Yeah.
Valhalla won by a single vote, like near the end. Oh my god. What did you think of this game, Theresa?
I loved it. It was fantastic from start to
It
finish.
was a
I
lot
think
of fun, right?
it would have been a lot easier if there had been some sort of notebook feature, which would have allowed us to take notes. but
I do agree. But I question the validity of that because I really don't think a feature like that would see a lot of use. Like, it makes sense in theory. It does. But I just don't think most gamers would look at that and be like, no, I think I've got this all laid out in my head pretty perfectly. It just seems like a superfluous, chunk of code that the game could do without.
Well, okay. Potato. I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that one.
Okay.
I would have loved a notebook feature. I think that would have been just amazingly helpful to just, organize and, go back and remember what was it? Like, what was that guy's email address? Oh, look, it's right here in my notes under his name.
But
because he has a whole page dedicated to this one guy.
But counterpoint is that it was still available in the other evidence, so I just feel like a notebook would just be redundancies all over the place.
Right. My counterpoint to you is, yeah, it was available in the other evidence, but where was it? In a notebook where his name was labeled, what was it, Clark Rafferty? No, not Clark, his son, Chris Rafferty.
Chris Rafferty. See, I remember that.
You could just go right to Chris Rafferty. You could go right to your Chris Rafferty page that you had created just for notes about Chris, and you would have been able to find his email.
Counterpoint is I had a Chris Rafferty page in my mind.
And you conveniently forgot Chris Rafferty's email address.
Yes. It wasn't convenient at all.
No, it was very inconvenient, which is why I restored the virtues of a note-taking system.
But I have that in my mind.
Hey, buddy. Anthony, my dear friend.
What's up?
I have some bad news for you.
Do you? Do you have some bad news for me?
I do.
Is it that maybe I need to start taking notes?
You might need to start taking notes.
But that's what you're here for.
Well, you're driving, bud.
Yes.
I have no control over anything that we were doing. So
let me ask you a question. When you're on a road trip and the person driving, do they also open the map, or is that what for the person in the passenger seat to do?
We're not on a road trip, though, Anthony. We're playing a video game.
Okay, but hypothetically, you don't want me driving and taking notes at the same time because, see, that dilutes the experience.
It does not, though, because the notebook is built into the game. It's right there. You can click the button and bring it up. You can click the little tabbies and flip the pages. You're
right. I can absolutely do that. But see, if we were driving, I wouldn't be able to do that because I need to keep my hands on the wheel.
Right. Now, see, I could have been taking long-form notes in a real paper notebook with a pencil, but that would not have been very convenient because it would have taken me a lot longer to write than it would take for you to type and copy-paste things.
But we have borne witness to my amazing typing skills and the fact that I was constantly typoing. So in the time that it took me to type things, you probably could have written them faster long form.
I guess we'll never know. Hey, to the devs that made this game, next time maybe put in a more accessible notebook feature.
Yeah, maybe one that can't be closed.
Always open.
Maybe one that cannot be closed and pushed off to the side, never to be used again.
Okay.
All right, guys. Oh my God, guys! Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, to the rest of you that just joined us, I'm sorry we're just ending. Please, follow us because on Thursday night we're going to be playing Valhalla. We're going to be starting that from scratch. To those of you who don't know us, Theresa and I do all of the voice acting. It's terrible, but we're
really bad at it.
Well,
Anthony's good at it.
Okay.
I have like one voice.
It's fun as hell. So please join us Thursday night for Valhalla.
Yes, please.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube. All of our past playthroughs are up there. This should be going up right now. I think it should be going up now after...
I think like 4 or 5 is up.
Paranormal Site was the last thing we did. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Receivable, at Blue Sky, at Occults Receivable. You can follow me in both places at Tamazmataz, and you can follow Theresa at YouTube, Blue Sky, and Kara at Tiny Kiwi Studio. Guys, thank you so much for everything, for dealing with my awful note taking. We will be back on Thursday with Valhalla, the cybernetic bar adventure. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, friends.
No, it's okay. I'm glad that you found us. Please, join us again on Thursday night. We're gonna have a good time.
We're gonna be even more stupid.
We're gonna
probably.
be absolutely. That's just clown it. That's our
Just clown
That's
it.
our motto, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.